Hey everybody, I'm Matt Worsham from the band D20, and I'm going to be showing you some of my guitars. We're just going to get started with my number one here. This is a Korean-made Epiphone LP, about 20 years old or so. Got a real good deal on it because it was all banged up and I had to do a lot of work to it. Replaced all the tuners, and then of course I've done a lot of cosmetic work on it, which is, you'll find, one of the things that I do. Take a look. It was kind of a quilted top. It was a real pretty top, even though it had some dings in it, but I covered all that up, stripped it down, did this kind of gold leafy thing around the edge. I sort of wanted to do a circus wagon kind of feel to it, and on a lot of the parts I did a patina kit, sort of like aged bronze, you know, so it had that look like you dug it up out of your front yard or something. So, and that's my number one guitar right now that I use for most everything. In fact, even though I do have a fair number of guitars, I don't switch around a lot unless it's for a specific sound or a certain effect. Yeah, I've always loved the humbucker sound. It's just, you just can't get it any other way. Right now I'm going through what I call my Jam Night rig. It's just a little PV Spider amp, doesn't weigh nothing, and kicks out some sound so you can actually play it without running direct. For even a pretty moderate sized outdoor gig, it actually screams. I barely got any volume on it right now. So that's number one. Let me go to number two here. This is my Strat clone. It's not a real Strat. In fact, you'll see none of my guitars for the most part are any kind of high-end name brand, because, well, I do this kind of stuff to them, and I wouldn't want to do that to my $3,000 Les Paul custom shop. I'm just not made of that kind of bread, man. So so you can tell you got that single coil thing going. That's what I use this guitar for if I need to have that kind of sound. Just and even though it's a generic Strat knockoff, it's got that sound going, you know. It's just forgive the playing there. And it's my only guitar that has any kind of whammy bar action going. Although, being that this is a cheap Strat knockoff, you got to be careful with those whammy bars, because these are the cheap imitation. You can already tell I probably got a little bit out of tune, but these are old strings. I probably set it up so it's a little more stable, but you get what you pay for. I mean, that's up to a certain amount when you're buying guitars. You get what you paid for. Beyond a certain point, you know, you're getting a lot of cosmetics and a lot of individual touches, but you know, this is a probably $200 guitar, new, and I got it secondhand, pawn shop probably, and I'm probably pay about $100 for it. So if I go astray with the belt sander on it, I'm out $100 rather than, you know. So, but yeah, I did kind of a sort of snakeskin pattern sort of deal here, and I just started going a little bit wacky with the Dremel, honestly. Didn't know exactly where I was going, but once pattern emerged, I was like, yeah, okay. And a lot of this distress stuff was done intentionally. A lot of this dirt on here, actually that's a rub of stain that I set down and started wearing off a little bit, and I just kind of let it naturally wear off as I would play it. So you don't get your hands dirty playing this guitar necessarily, but anyway, so that's my number 2. And this is another Epiphone. It's a SG type. So again, I did all the distress work and made it look sort of like a factory floor. You know, I see the nail heads and the board grooves in there. And they're getting a lot of antiquing on the metal parts, and I fabricated this plate here. See the little wing nuts I used for knobs and an old Radio Shack toggle switch. So that's that one, and I want to use it a little more, but for some reason I had it set up in this funky tuning. And anyway, this is my baby here. This is a Les Paul style. It's not a real Les Paul. It's actually the first one that I made from a kit, where I think I went through DIY guitars. Very good, excellent engineering. If you ever feel the urge to do a kit guitar, which if you don't know what a kit guitar is, that's where they send you all the parts in a box, basically. It's not finished, it's not wired up, it's all just loose pieces in a box. And so, I mean, I've been doing tech stuff on my guitars for a long time, and other people's guitars, and I got a woodworking background, but I finally just bit the bullet and decided, you know what, I'm going to try this, and they're relatively affordable. I mean, this is a 12-string. You can, you know, spend $180, $100, $200, and you know, you're in the market as far as, you know, an inexpensive guitar goes, you know, so you don't stand to lose a whole lot if it does turn into a disaster. That said, you know, I saw the engineering in this thing. The neck joint, this is a set neck that I had to set, and when I put the neck in there to dry fit it, I swear I could hear air escaping. That joint was so tight and so perfect. It just sucked in there. And you don't get engineering like that unless people know what they're doing, and these guys do. DIY guitars, man, check them out. But yeah, this is, I did kind of a boilerplate sort of brass. I started out with like a gold top finish, and this one's actually real nitrocellulose on the outside, which is a pain in the butt, let me tell you, man, because you got to do like 15, 20 coats and wait between them and wait a day between every other, and it takes a while. So don't tackle a nitrocellulose job unless you got some time in your hands, man. I'm telling you now. So I'm hoping this is more or less in tune. 12 strings, just double the fun. But fairly close, I guess. You gotta play that lick if you got a 12-string electric guitar, I'm sorry. But it's just got this nice ringy sound. And you could argue you could get the same thing out of a chorus pedal, which you can, but you know, there's nothing quite like going out on stage and like having all these keys up here and having somebody to, God, man, how many strings, man? I don't see electric guitars, 12 string that often, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's just cool. Alright, so moving on, this is another kind of specialty guitar. And again, I did the kind of, this is more of a driftwood sort of technique. And right here, I voted. So, I don't know if the sticker's going to stay on permanently or not, because I voted quite a while ago. Just ran off the slab here. But this one, a dude gave me this guitar free, just handed it to me. It was all busted up, had pieces missing, it was a piece of junk. But so I figured, hey, nothing to lose. So a couple of things I did. I took it all apart, of course, stripped it all down. When I stripped it down, I realized this thing is made of particle board or some kind of composite board. It was like freaky, man. I'd never dug into a guitar like that. But then I took the tools and started digging in, making it look like a piece of driftwood that I just washed up on the beach, and bought this Tully bridge and had these pickups laying around as one does, and decided to just go with a driftwood sort of look. And once again, little wing nuts for buttons and antiquing all the metal pieces. I'm pretty fond of that patina kit, man. It rocks, man. But I set this one up as a baritone guitar, which, you know, it's really not the right scale length to be a true baritone guitar, but, you know, widen out the grooves, put a pair of Barry strings on it, and you're good to go. You might be a little flabby because it could stand an extra couple inches of scale length, but hey, who's counting? So, baritone is so cool. I'm going to put some. See, this is what you got to do when you're playing baritone. Let me grab a pick here. Spaghetti Western, man, all the way. Yeah, that's too much fun. Last one we're going to talk about right now is this one here. It's one I've probably had for the longest, and it's a big old fat boy. I've had this one for 30 years. It was a gift from a good friend of mine. See, it even projects pretty well, like not plugged in. But this one I've probably done the least amount of cosmetic work to. I just did that antiquing stuff on the bridge because the original finish was all corroded and peeling off, so I figured, hey, you know, let's make it look a million years old. So doing that, might as well make some other parts match. I replaced the stock pickups with P90s here, just on a lark. I got a good deal on some. And Gibson speed knobs and stuff. Yeah. So let's see. And I normally am kind of a humbuckers fan, but something about P90s, man. They're just in that beautiful sweet spot in between single coil, you know, Strat style and humbucker. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a fat single coil type of sound, which is so cool on cleans. And like I said, these are cheapo pickups. I don't remember what I spent on them, but it wasn't much. You know, under $50 for the pair. Some place in China, I guess. And yeah, when you get it like right at that break point, like where the amp's about to break up, you get some clarity through these pickups that you just don't get exactly the same way in anything else, man. It's cool. Plus, you know, this is a jazz box, man. I've had this forever, and different times in my life didn't know what to do with it really, but that's what this beast was made for. But I don't always use it for that. It's a full hollow body, so plugging it into too much overdrive, it's going to holler at you. It's going to scream for days. It's a feedback machine, so you got to be careful with that. I know, like, there's some hollow body players that play some real heavy stuff, and you know, the old thing, stuffing socks in the F hole. You know, I wouldn't do that to this guitar. Okay? First off, I did the wiring in it, and I wouldn't stuff socks in there because I'd probably break something loose. Always good to learn how to do wiring. You can always learn to do it better. Anyway, that's just it for right now, and I'm Matt, and my band's D20. We're going to be doing a lot more of these type of things, showing you all different kinds of things, introducing you to the guys, and telling you a little bit about what we do. So, anyway, I'm going to just start playing you out with one of my songs. You played it all so well, with nothing left to chance. Contingencies in place, prepared for any circumstance. So tell me what went wrong. You should have seen us coming all along. But you've seen some better days, and you'll see some more, I swear. But for right now, you just have to trust me.